Once you cut the BS, your life will change. Now, what do I even mean by BS? I know a lot of you probably jump to the conclusion of bullshit, right? And you could say that, but what I'm referring to is your belief system. You see, the things that you've collated over a numerous amount of times of your life, a numerous amount of years, from the moment you could interpret data and information as a baby, you've been trapping yourself in a box that you felt wasn't even that. In fact, a box that you don't even realize you're creating, to say it in a better phrase. And this is something that I've kind of come to the realization. And I feel like this is one of the most freeing things that, almost it's almost kind of scary, if I'm honest with you. Just because you go from like a solid interpretation of who you think you are to almost being formless, to being no one, to being clueless. And it makes me think of the song like Cowboy, clueless. I don't know my love. I don't know my love. I don't know if you know that song, but it's a fire song. And that sense of like being clueless, that sense of really not knowing who you are, it's something that we fear out of the fear of the unknown. If I don't know myself, how can I know anything else? And I think that's really what holds so many of us back. If you're seeing this video, it's because you're resonating with something a frequency that I'm emitting in the universe. It means that you're in alignment with the things that I'm speaking. Now, not everything is going to resonate with you. And that's fine, right? There's a collective of people that are going to see this video. It might be 3. It could be 300. It could be 3 million, right? And I think within myself, knowing that it doesn't really matter how many people see this, but if one person can resonate, then I've served my purpose. It's really interesting. I think not many people genuinely know who they are. And I don't mean on a egotistical level, because that's normally where we normally jump to in terms of the conclusion of who we are. But instead, understanding that with our interpretation of our identity, which again is just it's just the collection of your BS. That's what your identity really is. In the etymological terms of identity, in terms of the breakdown, if that's even a word, but yeah, the breakdown of it. Now, again, I need to reference this, but it's a combination of 2 Latin words, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'll have to double check that. But essentially, we have identitarum, or rem. Anyways, what I'm trying to say, you see, I'm not claiming to know everything, but what I'm trying to say is, essentially, it's the accumulation of constant action, essentially, or constant the repetition of what you do. So you believe who you are because of how life has repeated itself. If someone keeps telling you you're stupid and then you fail your maths test, then everything will kind of fit together in a way that psychologists refer to as subconscious bias. And this is where we start to create, again, in psychology, it's referred to as self-fulfilling prophecies. Now, the self-fulfilling prophecy is where if I believe that I'm dumb, the universe and the environment and the world that I experience will reflect that to me, whether I like it or not. Because it's not about what I actually believe in terms of consciously. The conscious part of my mind, the prefrontal cortex, which only takes up about 5% of your actual thinking, of your actual reality, that you actually control. I'm discussing the deeper depths of that iceberg, which we refer to as the subconscious. And if you're just struggling with understanding why you're stuck or why you're not making the shifts that you want to make, if you want to quantum leap and you want to be able to actually jump from where you're at right now into a place that you have more money, that you have more happiness, that you have more love, being who you truly are on a soul level is going to get you there. But how do you find it? How do you find it? Right? It's not through this shit, right? It's not through hustling hard. And the reason why I have that up is because it reminds me all of the time that one, hustle really is only just the only controllable pillar of success. Meaning your hustle, your grind, or well, technically not even the grind, your hustle by itself, your work ethic, we could call it, is the only thing that you really can control. You can obviously manipulate and try and, you know, construct things to serve you best, but you can only ever really react to the experience that you have. If you are willing to just keep putting in the work, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how discouraging it is, no matter how long it takes, you'll see results. I can almost guarantee that for you. And not because of any like weird shit, but just out of, universal laws. Now, I'm not gonna I'll get deeper into that stuff as I personally learn more about it and can actually articulate it in a way that is simplified and it makes sense, because right now I feel like I understand it in a way that's helping me and creating the life that I want. But it's all based on the same premises that I'm discussing in the videos regardless. So every single time that you take an action, that is making a vote. And again, if anyone has read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, you have heard something similar to this, where your every action is a vote for a version of you that you'll become. Because in life we can agree, life never stays the same. It may feel like it does because the cycles and the coincidences and, oh, I feel like I'm in the same space that I was a year ago. I'll be honest with you, we only have negative or positive growth. Things either decrease or increase. And that's just how the world works. It's always expanding. There's always birth. There's always death. For a seed to grow, it must first destroy itself. And then it will become the plant that we know and love. Right? So every single thing that happens in your life, if you keep holding on to every single thing and you're unhappy and you're unfulfilled and you don't know why your life is not changing, then why hold on to those things that are not serving you? Why hold on to the thoughts that you feel are destructive to your progress? Because I've been there. Honestly, I have. You know, I came back from a trip in Australia, and after about 2 months there, maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 weeks, I came back and I came to the realization that, I can't run away from who I believe I am. You see, there's something in psychology again that is referred to as the law of substance. I'm pretty sure. I may be saying the completely wrong word, but if I break it down, you'll understand it nonetheless. What we're discussing is you being able to look at yourself in the mirror and essentially understand that your actions reflect who you think you are. That's the easiest way I can kind of conceptualize it for you. Because for myself, I was grinding. Now, right above me, I have a similar poster which says grind. It says to perform repetitive tasks over and over again in order to attain a goal. And that's what I was doing. But I wasn't getting anywhere. Yes, I made money. Yes, I did other things. Thanks, Siri. I've done a lot of things, but in terms of what I really wanted out of life, I couldn't see any results. There was nothing tangible. And I realized that I'm just running away from who I think I am deep down on a subconscious level. I had to face who I believed I was. I didn't believe that I deserved money. I didn't believe that I deserved love. I didn't think I could have it, attain it. So instead, I would run and chase and try to brute force my way through everything. And believe me, you'll get there. The brute force way, it does work, but it will take you a much longer time, and you're going to be miserable throughout the whole experience. Since I've discovered and kind of reflected on everything over the last 3 years for me, everything is starting to make sense. Everything has its place in my journey, but it's only because I started to surrender. I started to let go of the BS. I started to reframe the way that I thought on a subconscious level. Now it takes time because you've got to remember your subconscious is constantly active. Constantly. This is why you still dream when you go to sleep. So every single piece, your subconscious has never forgotten a single detail that you've experienced over however long your life has been so far on this earth. And as amazing as that is, you also have to look at it and say, wow, how many things do I not remember that have reconfirmed the version of me that I don't want to be? Because remember, the version of you that you are right now wants to survive because you stayed alive. So technically it's done its job and you've stayed protected. But how long do you want to stay in survival mode? And that's what I want to leave you with for today. Bye.